And then, Kelly, do you mind if I just use this while we start so I can kind of turn it this way? Here we go. You can kind of see people, kind of, sort of. Okay.
This coffee is really good. I feel like a person.
All right. Well, we are going to call this meeting to order, our board retreat for Taos Academy at 9:52. Can I please get a roll call?
Sam,
Here.
Barbara, here. Laura, here. Martin,
Here.
Karen, here.
And
Welcome,
also
Kelly.
with us
And
is
your-
Kelly.
And the guest, Kelly.
Excellent. And so next we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next is the approval of our agenda. I would like to amend our agenda to remove item E because we do not have minutes to approve at this time.
I
Yes.
read them scrambling.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I should have removed that, and that is my fault. And so I would like to move to amend.
Second.
First by Martin, second by Laura.
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Karen, yes.
Okay, so moving on to item F is governing council business. So first is our IPRA review, and Kelly, you can go however you would like with this, but this is kind of coming from a place of like the board, what's our like, what can happen, using different accounts and things like that, just like kind of covering and IPRA and whatever else you want to tell us.
Yep. And so I just want to just say that this is a very timely topic because the board I'm serving on has had a negative personnel, and we got IPRA'd, the board, the staff, everybody. And so it's right in our faces right now. So it's very fresh in what you're required to do in an IPRA. But just to back up a little bit, I went through your policies, and you have an IPRA kind of process, how to request records, and I just kind of it counts, but I was going to recommend, and I have a sample of a policy that is written about what the coverage is, and what the requirements are, what the expectations are, and it's just a short that I can absolutely send you.
Oh, we'd love that.
And so
IPRA?
IPRA, okay, Inspection of Public Records Act,
All right.
which is the for us, it's part of the Freedom of Information Act. It's underneath, but this is New Mexico specific.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, you do have a policy of how to do a request. I just recommend that you have an actual written policy, that you can take this template and you can adjust it however you need to.
Oh, like if people do request,
Right.
that we have a template for
Yeah.
how to. Oh, excellent.
And so it goes, basically what I did to make this sample is I went through the AG's office, Inspection of Public Records Act guidance. And
Mhm.
that's how I wrote this. So, so that would be my first recommendation, is to actually have a written policy, and then the existing thing in your files right now for a policy would go underneath it as a procedure.
So is this just for our board, or is that for the whole school?
It's for the school. Yeah, it's for the school, and it's just a protection for. Yeah, it's really it's very
Who requests records?
anybody can.
Like Tracy could request it, May could request it, Jamie could request it,
Anybody can request. And so I have some just sort of kind of tips and tricks that I've pulled out of the guidance and, just some recommendations about what the board is responsible for. So this is where my experience has kind of come into play. And so there are exceptions to the inspection of public records request. So if there are anything about students is off limits because that's under the federal protection of student records, and so that's a big exception for schools. But also there's and I pulled this particular section because
Oh, thank you.
I was thinking it was pertinent to this. So what happens in a request is there's a request that's made by a person in the public who wants access to certain records. And so you have to be able to produce those records. And so that includes emails, text messages, memos, notes, minutes of meetings, official documentation. That's the key word in here. And official documentation. And it runs the gamut. But if there's the exception then comes in a personnel issue, kind of what we experienced, is letters or memorandums which are matters of opinion in personnel files or student cumulative files. So what that means is that if there are if there's feedback to like an interview process or that kind of thing, where you're making notes that says, oh, I'm not comfortable with this person, or if it's an opinion, it's an exception to that. So you have to you have to discern what is opinion and what isn't. And the caveat that I always have is talk to your lawyer. That's the when you get IPRA'd, you want your lawyer right with you because they will make sure that the request is legal, that they're asking for the appropriate things. And the second thing is they will give guidance on what is that needs to be provided. And so the reason I brought this up is because a lot of times text messages tend to be more personal and everything. And so the difference is what we found out is if you're texting somebody, that, oh my God, I can't believe they did this or blah, 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 that's a matter of opinion. But if you're texting something, for example, we need to meet to discuss this person's review or their evaluation, or you're actually discussing something that would be official. So that's where a lawyer would help discern. And so you do not have to include, if they say all emails, all text messages, all correspondence, which is typically what they ask for, you can go through and say, under this exception, this is a matter of personal opinion. Again, the lawyer will need to make that determination. But it is, but it really, when you're talking about personnel matters, that's where this exception becomes pretty important. Now, the second thing is when a request comes in, a lot of times people get over eager to do more than what's asked for. And in the act, in the Inspection of Public Records Act, it says specifically, does not require public bodies to answer questions, compile information, or data into a document, or create any new records. So that, you give them raw. You give them everything that is just, you don't put it in any kind of order. You don't put it in any kind of, I'm going to do a table of contents. No, you do not have to do that. That is, that's over and above. And so, I think that's just an important caveat, because a lot of people get an IPRA request and everybody goes, I got to provide everything.
Or
And
have to download all this stuff. If
Yes.
it doesn't exist
that's
in
right.
its current form,
Right.
you do not have
That's
to provide.
exactly
That's
right.
great.
And so
Mhm.
it's just, I think the watch advice for boards is, to Sam's point, any business that you conduct for the Taos Academy Governing Council, do it on your official accounts. So
Mhm.
when you're looking, you're talking to each other, doing planning of any kind, do it on with your Taos Academy emails.
emails.
It's just because what we figured out is going through this very onerous process. I have my business email. I have a personal email. And some of that stuff started appearing. So I had to go through all that to see if there was anything that was appropriate. So that's the first thing. Again, having a Google file or a Google place where you can have a repository for any governing council business.
Mhm.
Having it all in one place is the best way to approach kind of record storage.
Like our Google Drive. that we
Yes,
have.
exactly, like our
Yes,
Google. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
exactly right. So you guys have the set to sort of organize this, but it's just really incumbent on governing bodies to be careful about kind of extraneous communications. That text messaging and the group texts are really bad. And so you don't want to do a board group text.
Mhm.
Communicate through one point of contact, your president usually,
Mhm.
or a person that's a committee chair.
Mhm.
Communicate directly with that person, because when you get those, and Open Meetings Act, obviously, the reply all for the board, if you're conducting business, that's a rolling quorum, and you don't want to do that. And somebody who's requesting IPRA information and got a hold of that, they could also make a complaint for the Open Meetings Act violation. So it's just, again,
Great reminder.
it's
Thank you.
it's
Yeah.
a paranoia.
Use for evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was, but it's.
Well, and it's
a
why
great
we use
reminder.
the.
Thank you.
It's why
Hopefully
like
it isn't something we need, but having it's like an umbrella
Yeah.
that we've thought about it. And it's
Yeah.
efficient.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it just, I think that's the purpose of
Yeah,
of this,
100%.
just, when you emailed me, I said, oh my God, I have perfect evidence to provide,
Yes.
because we just walked through this.
Yep.
And
So are you saying that we just need to adopt this into our policies and procedures?
We have
this
it.
Framework?
you have one that's in there, but it's really just a form with
Mhm.
instructions.
So that can be updated.
And this is, and I'll send this to you.
Oh, thank you.
And, it's just, it's basically a sample that I put together working with governing bodies on their policies. So
Mhm.
it just, just something to,
Can I then ask, where are we? So we had that whole big database of policies, and then every meeting we would go through and try to thin it out. And then I think we finally handed it over to the lawyer is that like happening?
no, actually to me and to
Oh.
Karen Moulton.
Okay. So you guys are going through like the policies right now?
Yeah, and so basically what happened is last year, I did a comprehensive assessment I went through every single one of your policies, and you guys have way more than
Is what is
what's required. But the assessment kind of targeted areas that needed bolstering. So some policies were out of date, some needed updating. There's yes, and so Tracy contracted with me to help with kind of organizing the policies, and Karen is what she's doing is she's for lack of a better word, commonizing everything. So having it under, the policy in a consistent format. So she's doing all that, and then she's working with me if there's any language that needs to be updated. And then not next week, but the week after, Deanna and Karen and I are meeting to really look at the financial policies.
Oh, good.
This is a project that's going on. What's going to happen is basically you guys are going to get a, here's the updates that need to happen. Formatting change doesn't require approval, but if there's substantive kinds of information that's added or deleted or something new is added, then you guys have to approve it. But it'll be a package, not piecemeal.
Okay, so we're gonna get a final set,
Yep.
kind of
Yeah,
synthesized.
here's what you need to
broad,
approve.
And then we just go, okay.
Yep.
We
It's
need
a-
to
it- do it
revise
a-
these policies.
Yeah, do one fell swoop, and you'll get them to review and everything. But
So is it like, we have pages and pages and pages of what we've already reviewed, so it's gonna be similar to that? Are we gonna do it in sections to approve, or?
that's one of the things that Karen and Tracy and I will work out is I'm recommending that you go by section. That it's
Okay.
just ridiculous to try to do 300. So updating the table of contents, making sure that the categories match. Here's what's in governance, here's what's in finance,
Mhm.
here's what's in students, here's what's in instruction, here's what's in wellness or socio emotional learning. All of those things are broken out. And so, because if you look at the list, it's huge and you've got all these letters. So I have given Karen a kind of table of contents for the ones that are required. That, you guys have above and beyond that, but making sure, one of the things we'll do is make sure that everybody's categorized, all these things are categorized the way they need to be. And then you'll get this really clean package that will be, you won't have to review all the policies, it'll only be the new ones.
Okay,
But there'll
okay.
be new organizing, and that will also be reflected on the website. So instead of having, if you go into the policies on the website, it's 2 links
Uh-huh.
to just a massive list of policies.
Yes.
I know,
So
it's hard to find.
It is hard to find. So we're gonna there's gonna be a link for governance policies, there'll be a link for student policies, there'll be a link for personnel policies, there'll be a link. So you'll be able to go into the category that you're looking for and then the policies will be broken down into each category.
So I know they went above and beyond.
Yeah.
So are we gonna go back to what is required?
Right now, Karen and Tracy believe that it's better to keep everything but just reorganize it.
Oh, okay.
And because there are some applicable ones that to Taos Academy. At some point, I think there's a reconciliation that can happen.
Yeah.
But right now, what we want is outside looking in, transparency.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody who's looking for policies, a parent, a student, or whoever, that they have an easier way to get access to them as well as you guys.
That's good.
I think that's good. And
course.
yeah. And like with having a new administrator coming in,
Exactly.
just more policy means more guidance
Yep.
around what is
Without a doubt.
okay, what is not
I was gonna
okay.
ask what the timeline is, kind of.
I think we're shooting to get done by the end of the year, so before Tracy leaves.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
So the table will be set for the new administrator.
Correct. It'll be all,
Hopefully.
and I'm not sure who the tech person is, but once we have everything into
Mary
folders.
Diggin, yes.
Yeah, that gal is the one that does all your
Uh-huh.
website, okay. And so that they'll be able to get that all uploaded, but they will be organized into folders by category. And then you'll have the list of each
Cool.
policy, and they'll have a unique number, and it's just repackaging that and making it more useful for user-friendly for everybody.
So it'll be on the school's website,
Mhm.
not just on the Google Drive.
It will be
No.
on both. It'll be on both, because I think the
Right now,
the
it's on
link,
both. Yeah, it's
the
on
link
both.
just goes to the Google Drive, so.
Oh, okay.
And so, but having this is where my type A personality kind of comes into.
We love that. though.
That's too overwhelming. That, it's just trying to sift through that kind of, it's not usable when you need to have at your fingertips
Yes.
something that requires access to a policy. And so
Yes.
I had administrator, a teacher, whoever, the public needs to be able to say, okay, I need to look at the student handbook and I need
Yes.
to look at this section of the student handbook. And
Yes.
so all of that will be together. That's the vision.
I think that's great.
And Karen's working on the actual physical updating the look of the policies.
Okay.
And then I have provided from that assessment, any that were missing, I provided a sample like this to
Okay.
use as a guide. So Karen, these are the ones, the new ones that you'll have to approve. You don't have to approve the other ones, just the new
So
ones.
we had missing ones?
A couple. There was a couple that very obscure kinds of things. One was water safety.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Well, honestly, I thought we approved that. I thought I provided a
Well,
sample policy.
when I did the assessment though last year, it wasn't.
Oh.
So, but that's an example of one that's kind of obscure and it wasn't in the existing policies. So
Mhm.
there's not many. I would say less than 10
Okay.
of the 120 or so that are required. There's less than 10 that were missing or need updating with new language.
Cool. That's great.
Oh, I didn't bring my work with that.
Come on, girls.
Any other questions? Was that
Mm.
basically what you wanted for IPRA?
I think so.
Any other kind of, just, it's always good to have a level of awareness risen. I can tell you that I've been doing this for 20-some years, working with
Get some
charter school.
calm.
That's the first time I've ever been
Come on,
IPRA.
girls.
So,
First time ever what?
IPRA.
Oh, okay.
So that's, it's bound to happen sometime.
Are you saying you're on the board of a charter school?
I
or-
am.
Oh, and so that was what got
Yeah.
that particular
Yeah.
school? Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know who at our school fulfills those?
Who are records
Who
custodian?
receives
That's,
them?
again, I don't know who that is. And so in here, you identify a records custodian.
Okay.
And the form, and I just took a glance at it. It's at the form, there may be somebody, I would recommend a position rather
That's
than
what
a
I think,
person.
the position.
Somebody, if it's your registrar or your whoever, that would be, hi baby.
Got it.
And so, yeah, you need to have somebody that is designated or a position designated as your.
At the village,
custodian.
we say the clerk.
Yeah.
So whoever the clerk is at the
Yeah.
time, that's the
Yeah.
one.
That's the
person
records
that's
custodian.
And the most important thing I'm going to reiterate is once that request comes in writing, you get it, the custodian needs to let the head administrator know, and the head administrator needs to make that call to the lawyer.
And there's a time limit too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to do like a 3-day letter if you're not gonna have it right away, and then you
Yep.
have 15 days or
Yep.
whatever.
And
So
that's.
is all of that in the policy?
Yeah, it alludes to that, and because again, a policy is a high level thing. You may want to take a look at your procedures to make sure that that's covered.
When
in
the
there.
procedures are identified in statute, aren't they?
Well,
Kind of,
basically,
basically, right?
it's just a putting the steps in place that you
Yes.
need, that your school will do. So it's the request in writing. There's a time limit. One of the things that is also a protection in the Inspection of Public Records Act is the fact if it's an overburdensome
Oh, really?
request. Like, for example, the one that I'm talking about, it was almost a 10-page request of all these specific things that this person wanted and several people wanted. And it's just, there's no way that a person could do that. It's 15 days that you have to get these records together. There's just no way. And so you respond and you say, this is overburdensome. We need 3 months or we need 6 months to put all this together. Because a lot of times the requests that we had security video requests. And so to find that and put it in a format that can be distributed takes a long time. So
yeah.
so yes, you have to respond, and you have to be open. You have to say, this is overburdensome, here's why. And we will have this for you in whatever time period that you want. So you are protected by that. So it doesn't, because I can tell you, the person that's doing it at the school is the head administrator, and he doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to do
Right.
this. And so
Mhm.
you need to be able to delegate, you need to be able to get all these different pieces. It's just but there's a protection. So you don't have to drop everything and do it in 15 days.
That's good.
And so
And does the attorney the one that redacts stuff?
the redacting, if you have a record, right, that has information that would be considered public information, but has like personnel names or student names or things that need to be redacted, I'm not sure. I don't know if that may be one role that a lawyer can do, but
I would think they would at least review it.
they
before-
would probably recommend, and I would guess that they have, and I'm looking at you because Dan,
Right.
does he have somebody that does redacting? Does he have like a service or something? Because I know that, like, for me, I would redact kind of like the White House is redacted. You do it in a PDF and somebody can remove it. So
Right.
you need an official redacting software.
Oh, I think we use Adobe for
The higher level Adobe has
yeah,
that.
we have the higher level Adobe and you can't take it away.
Yeah, and so that's a
I
great
understand what you're
question.
asking.
Yeah.
Yes, we use Adobe for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the kind of recommendation from the guidance is that err on the side of providing public and redact as you need to.
Okay.
Come on, girls.
It's a big deal. So somebody recently at
Sit
the
down.
Cuesta Schools board
Okay, sit
meeting
down.
asked a bunch of questions at the board meeting, just somebody from the public. And then the next day, they didn't give him answers, so the next day he came and requested, I don't know, if 12 or 20, I don't remember what the number was, IBRAs for all that information, and then they had to give him the information.
Yep.
But they didn't give it to him at the public meeting.
Could they give it to him at the public meeting?
I don't know, I wasn't there, but
Because,
he
you know,
asked and they didn't know, or,
Yeah.
If it was public comment, the board or the district shouldn't respond.
Okay.
And so that was the next step is that we can't respond
Mhm.
and this is not something that we're going to address at this meeting because it's not on the agenda.
right?
It's not, there's no action or anything that's going to be taking place for this. So it shouldn't be discussed. And they were well within their rights to do that. But again, that's an overburdensome request. And so they would, 3 months, 4 months, whatever.
All right. Thank you.
And speaking of all these records and who's the records custodian, apropos of that, we do need to think about a head administrator transition checklist. Kelly, I know that you provided us with a succession tool. And so I'm thinking that is probably what is going to be the guiding document for that work. Now, let me ask you, Kelly, in your experience, I'm sure you've used this before. We got this from you, I think, last year. Is there anything that you're like, oh, we probably should have added that or this or that? Or are you feeling this is pretty comprehensive based on your experience?
It is comprehensive for planning succession
Mhm.
forward.
Yep.
The transition, it didn't contemplate the transition fully.
Got
And
you.
so there's some things in here because if the person leaves immediately, there's lists of things, but there's sort of emergency things that somebody would need to know tomorrow to go into the school to take over as the leader.
Mhm.
And so so it's limited in terms of what a transition would look like. I'm as you put this on the agenda, I got to thinking, the job description, would that sort of identify some
I
things?
think Laura was talking about that.
So she provided, Tracy provided kind of job descriptions for a bunch of different, it's slightly different. Not the one for the new position, it's an Excel spreadsheet
Okay.
that had, columns of things like
Yeah.
CPO and finance, manage the school budget that were essentially, that she owned, or the school administrator owned. And so, yes,
Was it that one?
it's that one, leadership structure.
I have. Okay.
And so, that being said, this seems like some blend of that and what Kelly's shared. And again, I'm sure there's some redundancy, so I hadn't cross-checked across most of them, but that seemed like a good place to go back to, because that's what Tracy, owns, and so it would be a good thing to sort of blend those together.
And and using that kind of job description as, so what do we, if Tracy owns this,
Yep.
how do we ensure that stuff doesn't get dropped?
Well, so I think she, her note to us, I think, was sort of asking for, generously, how could she help?
Mhm.
So, I think, maybe starting from yours, because it has need, want, who owns this, and, and I don't know, I can't do it, because I'm leaving town tomorrow, but, some blending of, are all these things covered? In her spreadsheet, and then sort of customizing it, because Taos Academy and Tracy's role are slightly different than
Absolutely.
and making sure all those things are covered is something that needs
Yeah.
to be done. I'm happy to get after it when I get back in a week, but I'm not doing it next week.
May I ask where you guys are in the process right now in terms of hiring?
Yes.
Stack of resumes
We have a
here.
stack of resumes. We whittled them down to 12, and today we hope to whittle it down to between 3 and 5
It's a good.
to then begin interviews.
Okay. So what's your timeline to get somebody hopefully in place?
For the
And that's
fall.
part of the discussion. I don't think we've had that, been able to.
You don't have that end
We
date.
know our timeline.
Yeah.
That's after we get done doing whatever we're doing here, we'll do that and get back to them, because we don't know yet.
Yeah, I just, however I can help.
Yes.
If you want me to take a look at that
100%.
transition sheet, I don't have this sheet, the leadership structure.
Mhm.
If you could,
I can make a copy for you.
yeah, that'd be
That'd be
great.
great.
Want it on paper or email?
Well, both. If
Okay.
you guys are gonna be talking about that, I wanna make sure I can adequately. And then I can just look at it from a head administrator's eye to
Mm-hmm.
see if there's, anything maybe that I feel like would be, if that's something you feel would be useful, I'm happy to do that.
I think one of the things that is an audit thing is that somebody has to be stated as the CPO.
Yes.
And right now it's Tracy.
It's not
and-
Jamie?
No.
Oh, it's
Sydney.
Tracy. Okay.
Jamie has her CPO. She is certified, so she's like the backup.
Got
But
it.
I think before the end of the year and going into the new year, that has to be given to the state, and that change needs to
Yes.
be made so that Jamie is the CPO instead of Tracy, so that when we ended with a CPO and we're starting the new year with the CPO, so there's not an audit finding
Yeah.
right there.
And with that being said, there's also a lot of communication that has to go to the PED,
Yep.
so you have your budget analysts,
Mhm.
you have the charter schools division,
Mhm.
you've got the special ed, so everybody needs to have, and I'm sorry to say this, but the PED does not have a way to disseminate this.
Nope.
Easily.
Nope.
You have to go to every single, we found this out with our interim head administrator. We had to go, oh, I need access to this. Oh, I need access to this. So your NOVA, which is the student information,
Mhm.
the testing access,
Mhm.
that all needs, there may be people at the school that have like sub-access, but
Yes.
the head administrator needs, I think you want, the head administrator needs access to all of them. They have to be able to go into anything. So, and she may have gone through this.
She
so
did. It's all in there.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got ed plan, everything's.
Yeah, the
so-
90-day plan,
Yeah, 90-day
the
plan,
dash.
the
and-
dash, the
and
attendance
her-
plan,
she-
the this
she's
plan, the
really
that plan.
comprehensive what she put
But this,
together.
and that's great, because
So I
that's
think-
gonna be helpful.
But I think that's all we need to do is to basically blend it with yours that has have, need, who needs to push, who owns this.
Right.
And just share that with her. And my hunch off the top of her head, she could bang this out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
She
Mhm.
knows that, and we can, and then we're sorted.
And priorities obviously are the ones that are gonna be
Time sensitive.
the audit kind of findings, and so that CPO position is really important. Thankfully, there's somebody else trained on staff,
Right.
or else the transition plan would be getting somebody trained
And I mean,
who's
she
on staff
covers,
right
like,
now.
Safety, she's in charge. I mean, the things that I think about it, expose us legally are gonna be
Right.
fiscal,
Right.
safety, going over the summer, but anyway, some of her stuff is her description that Martin has just shared with you. If we just blend those
Okay.
to make kind of cover us going, because
And
student
so I'll look
behaviors
at
going
this.
into July probably aren't as big of a problem, but
Right.
safety on the campus, who, as it
Well, the
Jose,
buildings,
whoever,
facilities.
kind of knowing who, but that's why we're doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was great. I'm glad she reached out and asked for that, because it's timely.
Well, and it's nice of her to provide this, because
Oh,
that's,
100%.
because even, I would have general head administrator, but the
She-
Taos Academy stuff is very specific. Oh, I want to play.
She's like, I want to be your friend, Kelly.
Yes. So I'll absolutely take a look at this and see if there's anything, but it seems like you feel confident that she.
Well, so do you want, who's gonna blend your checklist with Tracy's specific stuff?
Not
Because
it.
it does seem like it, yeah. I mean, I can't do it this week. I'm
Right.
happy to do it when I get back.
If you wouldn't mind doing it when you get back,
Yeah, in
Laura,
a week and a half or whatever. If we
That'd
can-
be
if
fine.
We can wait 10 days.
we
I'm
can
happy
wait
to
10
wait.
days.
And that'll give me time to look at it. And
Okay,
provide, so I can send that to you.
okay,
To you,
sure.
I'll send it to you and copy you, Sam.
No, that's
the committee.
Great. And, with the goal of having, and let's write back, I mean, one of the.
I was going to say, like,
Things, and is to let Tracy know our timeline, because
Yes.
she, is that, just given my stuff, but, in the, but 1st of May, I mean, it still gives, hopefully, because
2
I think
months.
her contract's the June,
June
end of
30th.
June. Okay, so that gives her 2 months. I mean, I know she's got other things going on, but that will give her a full 2 months. So I'll just shoot
Yes.
for May 1st. Does that seem, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, 2.5
Yes.
days.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
yeah, and her contract ends June 30. So I think
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I just, don't want to, and my hunch is because, Tracy knows what's going on in the school, she'll be able to bang it out pretty quickly, but I'm sure some of these things may take some training of a few people and hand off that,
Yeah,
that
of
she
course.
owns solely, so
Yeah.
hopefully that 2 months will at least get us to triage through the summer.
If you have somebody that you're going to hire, depending on their situation,
Uh-huh.
If there's a way that there can be a couple of week or even a month overlap,
Mm-hmm.
even if that's if you pay Tracy a 2-week contract, but however that person, because if they're at another school, they would have to provide 30 days notice
Mhm.
to that school and, wouldn't be able to do daily kinds of stuff. But but in the summer, they may be able to take vacation. You know what I'm saying? Is so if there's time to do thank you. If there's
An
time,
overlap.
an overlap,
Mhm.
that's a best practice.
Yeah, sure.
This is great, and I don't know what Tracy's kind of, if she's June 30th and she's out, that sometimes people,
Sure, it's
Yeah.
within her rights, so
Yeah,
we'll do it.
absolutely.
Sure.
But having that kind of overlap really helps with transition.
Do the best we can.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, if we don't know, things we can't control.
That's
Right.
There's a couple of knobs here we can't control.
That's
but
right.
We'll offer
Right.
what we can. because
Yeah.
We don't know. Yeah. I think
Totally
everybody
right.
we're looking at has a job. So,
You.
And some of them have multiple jobs.
correct.
Did you see that?
I did. I was kind of confused
How
as
are
to
they
how that
gonna do
happens.
this full time if they have other jobs?
Well, they may or may not be a candidate. Yeah, we'll see. Well,
That
we'll
may
cross
be an
bridge.
elimination.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
when we get down to our top
Yeah.
3 to
Okay.
5. Yeah, anyway.
So do we feel good about the head administrator checklist, Laura? And
Yeah,
when you
plan.
come back from your trip, you're gonna
I'm gonna blend-
combine.
Yeah, I like Kelly's format and then try to see coverage. If Tracy's got it listed and it's already there, then I'm not gonna just.
Well, and she has all the other folks that are on her team.
Well, I'm just dealing with Tracy's
Yeah,
stuff.
and that's the,
No.
and what I'm gonna look at is if there is that need from a head administrator's lens, that if this person's doing this, does the head administrator need to have an access point?
Yes.
That's the
Oh, I
lens
see
I'll
your
look,
point. Okay.
that's the lens I'll
Got
look
it.
at it. And just if there's, in the meantime,
Mm-hmm.
in the transition, they may need to have access to
Yes.
something. And so, we'll make sure that it makes a lot of sense.
And then if an email could go out today, just a response that's like, hey, we've talked about it.
Let me send that to Tracy right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, we've talked about it and we will get that to you on or around this day. And, you know, Kelly's gonna look at X, Y, and Z and.
No, I'm not going into any of that detail.
Okay, no.
I'm just gonna tell her, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
I was just gonna say probably not a good idea.
yeah, I'm just gonna tell her that thanks, great, I, appreciate the question
And the
you know,
starting point.
Yes.
yeah, that we're gonna start from, and has she seen that secession tool?
I think so, yeah.
This is.
Yeah, you sent it to both of us
Yeah,
a while
just
ago.
Everybody, yeah, I just wanna make sure, okay.
I don't have a copy of that because it was before my time.
Oh,
Will you?
I can
send me?
absolutely send it to you.
Okay.
I take my notes on this stuff,
On
so
your
I'd normally hand it to you, but
It
I
is
have
a
to take my-
remarkable, and I am obsessed with it.
And so you can just handwrite your notes and then
Yep.
it will digitize it.
And I can leave it as handwritten, or I can turn it into typing. You can also upload PDFs, which I do often, and then you can annotate them.
Wow.
It's like, it's one of the best
That's
things.
like
You are a
super-
digital native,
Who's
aren't
the
you?
maker?
No, well, Dan was like, we're gonna get you one of these for law school. And so I was like, what's that? It's called Remarkable.
It literally is
It's
called
literally
Remarkable.
called
It's an electronic notebook.
Yeah, it's electronic in here. You can like feel the, I love it.
It just actually just like, interesting.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I use it so much more than I do pretty much
Taos
anything
Academy
else.
Interesting.
Do we need a bathroom break, Fran? Is that where you're ripping at me? Do we need a little potty break?
Knocking around the
They
village.
also might do water.
This would be really helpful. I went to a conference and I took 23 pages
Here,
of
do you
notes.
want some, do you wanna go step outside?
I might want to get me one of the, I'm doing this paper pencil stuff. I
Come on, girl.
That's
need,
what I
I
did.
need to graduate.
Is taosacademy.org or
.org. I just wasn't sure that this,
Yeah,
so I'll send that to you,
thank you.
after we're done. I didn't even bring a computer. What a lame-o.
I brought mine and I can't use it. So I'm right there with you.
I guess I have my phone, but
It's too hard to do on the phone.
Yeah.
My
I don't
husband
like
does stuff on the phone continuously. It's,
I get
I don't know how he does
tangled.
it.
I get tangled up.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
This isn't the same as being able to see it.
okay, I'm gonna take this back from Sam for a second. Some of the notes. Because you guys get training credit for this planning.
Do you think we have all our hours
Easy,
even?
easy.
This is so much better than having to sit through those classes.
I did mine.
You
I got
have to,
my badge.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I got my badge.
Now you won't have to do that anymore.
Yes. Now it's 5 hours a year, right?
And this is all,
But you
Counting.
never have to do anything ever again.
But it was really good for me. I
Yeah.
learned
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
much that I
Yeah.
wouldn't have, I just wouldn't have known. Like New Mexico Vistas,
Right.
which because we never did get information we asked for on the percentages, right? I didn't get it.
You can go to this website.
So you go into New Mexico Vistas. I would like more explanation on that, but I can go over that with one of you guys.
Yeah. It's just the word of caution
Mm-hmm.
that it's a very specific, narrow kind of assessment of the school.
Yes.
And you want to have that more, because your school's non-traditional,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things. I mean, you guys are doing fine. You're at Spotlight School, I think. And, but, just looking at your performance contract, which has mission-specific goals, there's that distinguisher of what makes your school different from everybody else. And that's a really important part of the contract. Yes, the vistas is important. I'm not diminishing it, but there's so many other things that make a school effective.
What it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And
would
so-
like to learn more about that,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, and that's, and we can definitely do that. So just so you guys know, so the three things that we've been kind of talking about, so effective governance, because you're doing your work as the head administrator, hiring process. We've talked about legal, which is IPRA, and we talked about policies and procedures, which is the thing. So that's training,
Mhm.
how to do things, how to better utilize your resources is training. So you guys get credit for that, for these 3 hours or 4 hours that you'll be in. So that's how it works. Is I'm sort of your built-in resource. You have your own Siri.
Oh, I love that.
GB Siri.
So what is next? Are we?
Oh, I sorry, I stole this because I
Oh.
keep notes on your training
Oh, I
hours.
love that. Thank you.
I did send the email.
Thank you.
To Tracy, CCing both Kelly and Sam, just again to.
Thank you. All right, so I think we've talked through our transition checklist, correct? So next is board succession planning. Mm-hmm.
I turned in my letter of resignation from the board. It's been a little bit. But I'll stay through my term of June 30th, and I'm just so busy with my job and things in Cuesta, I cannot do this anymore. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I love it. I love this, and I love participating for the school. I just cannot keep up anymore.
No,
Yes.
You know.
We
I
are
trust-
very
I was
appreciative.
gonna say,
I
yes,
know.
you've been incredibly,
I learn from you every meeting,
yeah, no, your lens
from something
is-
you put out there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely, Karen. No,
So you guys have 6, right?
5.
5, so
We will
Yep.
need to recruit.
45 days.
From
We can-
June
we can be
30th.
From
vacant
June 30th.
For 45 days.
Yep.
From June 30th.
So
What
yeah.
happens if
you have-
you're not? What happens if you don't?
We are below the statutory
It-
requirement.
yeah.
It's a ding on our performance framework.
Yep, CSD will.
And we don't want that.
I just find it all so fascinating.
It is.
It is fascinating.
That you have a volunteer board.
Yep.
And that you're gonna get dinged because you have a vacancy for a long period.
It's
I
very,
just find it kind of
very,
hilarious.
very unusual.
And when
Yes.
the auditors go through the audit, they'll ask. And they'll say, do you have, who's on your board and who's,
Yep.
the June 30th and.
Have they done their training?
Have
Have they done their training? Do you have the
Um,
appropriate
And
committees?
is Karen, who's replacing Karen?
Yep.
We have that.
So that's great. Not always do you get notice like this. So this is, having a couple months is really a benefit. But that's, did I share this with you guys? This is a board recruiting tool.
I don't know that you have. If you have, I don't remember.
I will send this to you.
Thank you.
And essentially, it's kind of a, I don't know, how to, how do you best utilize your connections? How do you leverage that? And, what is it that we need? So you have somebody here who's finance expert.
Mm-hmm.
So your target probably needs to be a finance expert. And so, that's something that a lot of boards have gaps in their, so you have real estate, Laura, you do everything.
general opinions.
Yeah.
Un-
You're a
unwarranted-
community member.
Unwarranted, unvalued. That's a former academic.
Okay, so that's a,
She's
that's
referenced
a,
finance budget.
yeah, and a
Not yet.
parent,
Not yet.
all these different viewpoints, right?
Mhm.
And so this just gives you you can do an analysis. How are your terms? Do you have people coming up that have to be termed?
We have
Out?
that in our bylaws. I
Yep.
can't pull it up right this second, but I do know that we have terms and those terms are connected to specific positions on the board or officer positions on the board. And they rotate.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a rolling.
Yeah.
So it's like position A, position B,
And,
position C.
and so there's a tool in here that you can assess that and see
Mhm.
where everybody is. And, so that, because you have somebody who's stepping off, but you may have somebody that may not want to renew. So the other thing that this tool provides is if you wanted to do interviewing if you wanted, there's questions about.
Oh, I love that.
And so interviewing somebody, you could do it at a coffee shop.
Yeah,
It's just,
well, we
you know,
just,
you guys have a
Barb
conversation.
We just onboarded Barb successfully.
Yeah.
Through the way that we did it, so I think we're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
But if you wanted to, the tool is there if you want. Siri always gives more than you need, so.
No,
We
it's
love
a
it.
great resource.
And
absolutely.
then there's an onboarding checklist
Oh, good.
of some things that would be important to have for new members. One, they have to do that training, but two, do you have a copy of the charter? Do you have the copy of the bylaws, access to it in your Google Drive? My suggestion is, in the old days, we did a great big fat notebook with everybody, with all those documents in it, and you got a board book. Now you have digital board books and the Google, so being able to put all these resources in is pretty easy. And so there's a checklist on that. So I'll send that to you, and it gives you just kind of some things to
Okay.
help with your work.
And I'm happy to,
Stay
this whole,
on for another term.
the whole, financial reconciliation that I do every month with the financial reports that, Deanna gives us. I'm glad to teach somebody who wants to do that, and have it set up for the next year. We're like behind now. So we just reviewed February
Mhm.
financials and it's April.
Right.
So, but I can set up a format so that all they have to do is plug in the numbers for the new fiscal year.
Mhm.
So
Talk
that,
about
and it's
resources.
easy,
I know.
it's super easy. It's just, you just have to know how to do it, and it's spreadsheet, it's a spreadsheet. So
So you validate numbers?
I validate
She does,
numbers
she has her
every
own
single month. And if
That's
I'm
reconciliation.
off,
beautiful.
then I call Deanna and I say, what's
I'm
going on?
using you as a
Why?
tool. I'm going to tell people that this is one of the things that you can do that would be an
Mhm.
effective.
Yeah, I'm glad to share it
practice.
with everybody.
Yeah.
You just, when you look at it, you won't understand.
Right.
But when I can try and,
But I think just that understanding of, are you the treasurer as well? And so what this treasurer position could entail, and somebody that can, I think it doesn't necessarily have to be a finance person, but somebody willing to learn.
yeah, somebody who's in business.
Yeah.
Would be able to do it very easily.
I would love to know. I don't want to be the treasurer, but I would love to.
Are you sure you don't want to be the treasurer, Barb?
You may get into it and love
Not
it.
today, but you never know.
Okay.
Because I am in business and I run numbers all the time, way different
Yes.
way, because I have to price everything out every job.
Right.
So it's a different style, but I would like to know, because I look at them and go, okay, what is this telling me? And I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I can't put it together.
Well, then maybe, maybe start.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
And
and
I
I'd be
know.
glad to meet
And
with
I-
you and we can go through it and
Yeah.
I can show you and then
Yes,
you can do it and I can do it and see if we come up with the same stuff over the
That's a
next
great
couple
plan.
months and that
Mhm.
way you get comfortable doing
Kind of
that.
apprentice size. I love
yes,
it.
I know.
I love that, and I'll work around your schedule. The schedule is pretty open.
Well, and I'm happy to remove myself from not remove myself, that's not what I mean.
But not
I'll
the
still be the finance committee person, but like this is what I did when I first came on the board with Dean, where he was the finance committee person. We can't all be there together because then that creates a quorum.
Mhm.
But on days where maybe Karen's going to show something, you could kind of get that temperature check of what it's like to be in the finance committee.
Yes, yes. That would be great.
And I just want to tell everybody that you may not understand the 910B5, but somebody's got to look at it.
Yes.
Just, I mean,
Yes.
Sam will understand it, I think.
Mhm.
Barb, I can kind of show you what to look
Yes.
for in that.
Yes.
But somebody should look at that,
Yes.
not just Deanna.
And like Sam said, oh, we had a budget for advertising.
Mhm.
And I thought, where is it? Who did that? When did that happen? And how does that work? Where does that money come from? I have a lot of questions like that.
I'd be glad to go through the financials with you.
Okay.
I know all this because I was a business manager for a school for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
For Roots and Wings.
Okay.
So I grew
You
into
know.
that. I
Yes.
know what to
You
look
know.
for, and what questions to ask.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that all of you can't learn something. If you wanted to learn, well, and just like, so whoever it is that approves the invoices, because somebody's gonna have to start approving invoices besides me for the checks and be a signer on the checks. I saw these invoices coming through for advertising, and I'm going, oh my gosh, do we have enough money in the budget to cover this?
Right.
So maybe it's not Barb that looks at those, maybe it's somebody else that's a signer on the account and looks at that, so there's two people kind of checking,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just the one person that, has to do all the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the 910B5 is when you ask where does the money come from,
Mhm.
that's the generator. It's a formula that takes the kids, this is very simple, that it takes the number of kids that you have and plugs them in.
That's all in that class. I
Yeah.
totally get that.
Okay.
But then, so you get that money and you have this chunk for the year or whatever, and then you have different other chunks.
Function codes.
And then who decides how does that get split up? Who
Business
decides
manager,
that? Okay.
They-
head administrator.
Yeah, they put a
Tracy.
proposal together.
They put a proposal together and then we review it in a public meeting, right? And then I think, isn't there an opportunity for the community to say
Yes,
something
you have
as
to have
well?
by
public
law, there
hearing.
has
By
to be.
law, there's an opportunity for the community to say something, and then the budget gets approved from there.
Uh-huh.
So if there's a
So I
concern
just
about
haven't
something,
been through
yeah,
that
Right.
process yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's coming.
Did you say that you actually signed checks for Taos Academy?
So I get a list of invoices when they're gonna make checks, and I go through all the invoices, making sure they're made out to Taos Academy. Who kind of, what are we buying? What are we paying for? And then I say it's okay to pay, and then they have my electronic signature on all the checks, mine and Tracy's.
So you co-sign.
I did not.
Yeah,
know
there's
that.
two signers.
Mhm.
I did not know that you went through all the invoices that you needed.
And I'm on current, right? So I see what's happening every week when they do checks. But as a board, we're 2 months behind
Right.
getting the stuff. So that's why when I was going through February, because I could see all these invoices, I said, where's the budget? Where are we at? Back in February, because I see all these big numbers coming out. I mean, $1,200 for advertising, and another one, I said, that kind of shocked me, that there was so much money when it's advertising for this position. I get it, but when is it gonna stop, and are we gonna get enough?
Advertising
Oh, it
people
stopped
that-
on April
for the
6th.
For the head
administrator?
administrator position?
Yes.
Well, it stopped in April.
It stopped
6th.
April 6th,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But that brought us.
I mean, we need
brought
it.
us 30
We need
plus
it,
candidates.
but-
Applicant.
That's
right, and you
amazing,
say, you know what,
that
I mean,
return.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we got 31 applicants or something like that.
Yeah.
Where I know of
It's
other schools
amazing.
that have gotten 2 or 3,
Yeah.
so.
If that.
yeah.
Yeah. And so the other thing I want to put out there is I'm starting law school. And so I am getting a lot of pressure to step down from the board from my family. I don't really want to do that. But I think in order for this to be tenable for me, I don't know that I'll be able to stay as president. And so that's something I want us to be thinking about. I feel like we've come an incredibly long way, and I'm like not ready to fully give it up just yet. But thinking about that 1L schedule where I will probably be in the car on Mondays when our meeting is, running the meeting from the car just seems a little insane. And so thinking about if there's someone here, and we don't need to know now, and we don't need to decide anything now, I'm just putting it out there that if there's someone who is interested in taking over as president, that is going to make it so I can stay on the board.
We need your experience. We need your background. What you're doing right now makes it so much easier.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I don't want to just like get overwhelmed and then be like, I quit, and so asking for what I need right now and just thinking about that. Again, we don't have to decide anything.
You're starting this fall.
I start August 17th. So I would be able to run the August meeting, and then for September, we would need someone to be the president.
And I don't recommend the new person be the president.
Oh, no. We'll need someone with some experience. I do think what I want to say is like, I do think that I do think that I do think that we've gone through the hardest piece, right? Like in terms of workload. My hope is that once we successfully complete this transition, board chair will be running the meeting once a month, and that's it. I mean, I can't promise that there's not other pieces, but like meeting with the meeting with the head administrator, you know, approving the agenda, attending the finance committee meeting, and running the meeting. You know, like right now it's been basically a full-time to part-time job. But, you know, just throwing that out there.
So I have a question. I think this is the hard part that we're working on, yes, but when you look at this list, which I find totally overwhelming because it's not my
Right.
forte.
Right.
For somebody new to come in and look at this, it seems like we're gonna have to, are we hiring someone to help that person get through? Who's overseeing this person? We are, right?
The
You
transition.
mean the
Yeah.
new head administrator?
Yes. I mean, aren't we in charge of the new head administrator?
We are in charge of the new head
So
administrator.
do we have a are we as a group gonna have a checklist that says to the new head administrator, you need to have this done in the month of March, there's so many chores you have to have done, are they all done?
Right.
I mean,
Well, and I'm hoping I think we do have a little bit of money
okay,
and I know that we are going to apply for the Indicators of Success grant from the PEC. That's not till the upcoming fiscal year, so that we can't use that money right now. We'll have to check, and I see Karen making a note of that, to see what's in the budget for some kind of support. I know PCS&M provides like head administrator mentorship, and we are mentors, so that's something we could probably sign up for. And in fact, I would insist that we do.
Yes.
This new person does, because it's a head administrator mentorship
Mhm.
position. And so having that touch person, I think is going to be huge. And then thinking about like, what do we have allocated in the budget to ensure that these things, that they do have support beyond the governing council, I think is going to be huge. And then also, I think, and this is a pin for our transition checklist. Of the things listed, what are absolutely Tracy's that she does as of now, right? Because I think a lot of it, because there's a leadership structure within the school,
Mhm.
I wonder, like, who's doing our unified app? It could be Tracy. It very well could be someone else within the school. And so knowing who does what on that list, I think is going to be helpful, because I don't think that they are going to be doing absolutely every single thing on that list by themselves.
Okay, because it's overwhelming.
It is.
Yes.
And the time to put that money in the budget is now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're getting a new budget and
Yes.
and I don't want us to do a budget adjustment request and say,
No.
we need this. We need to tell Deanna now, we need this much money. And I'll tell you what, as long as I've been on the board, we haven't spent money.
No.
As a board.
No.
We don't go to trainings.
Nope.
Outside. We don't get paid for mileage. We don't get paid to attend any of these things. I once asked about going to the budget conference. It's not really necessary that you go. Yeah, I understand that it's not necessary that I go, but board members can go.
Yes.
I actually think that is, I disagree. I'm going to say it on the record. I disagree with the sentiment that is not necessary for board members. I think going to professional development and getting support and compensation so that we do understand our role is going to be vital in the upcoming year. And I think when we are doing our budget, that it is absolutely essential that we have confirmation that is something that is going to be available to the board within reason.
And there, even in that, the budget conference, there's training for the board members. There's a whole, you can get all your hours there if you need to.
Yep.
But you can attend other stuff too that gives you more knowledge of the school and how things work.
Yep.
You can do the finance stuff, you can do the administrator stuff, you can
Yeah.
do the teacher stuff, because then you're a little bit more well-rounded.
Yep.
In the training that you need as a board member.
Well, and there's also there's the PCS&M conference, which I actually present at and attend because in this world and I work for an attorney in the charter space, right? And so I go to this thing, or this event. But I do find it, and we all have lives and we're, unpaid, whatever, we're not elected, appointed officials. But I do think it's helpful to see what other boards are doing, what is the latest and greatest out there. We do get excellent in-person training from Kelly, but just getting that additional piece, you present at that conference,
Yep.
There's a lot to be said. And I know that Taos Academy internal attends that, but it's also for board members. And so there's no reason why, if we wanted to,
Yeah.
we should be able to attend that.
I think
And that's an
trainings-
item that you put in the budget early on.
Yep.
That covers the expense of.
Right.
Yep.
And just so you know, with the school, you have to pay your own way and then they reimburse you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like where I work, they give us a credit card and you just pay for all the stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's a
you just have to-
reimbursement
You have to
process.
be prepared. And that's
They
what our
usually
teachers do.
register.
Yes.
They usually register.
Yeah, they register pay your registration, but you have to pay for your hotel and your meals and your gas and then they reimburse.
And then you reimburse.
And when I saw that, I said, why? These poor teachers have to pay for all their stuff ahead of time and then get reimbursed afterwards. Are they getting reimbursed quickly after their thing?
Mhm.
So
Are they?
They should be.
yeah, they are.
Okay. Yeah, because that could be a hardship for.
Absolutely,
salary.
absolutely.
Mhm.
So this is the thing that confuses me about this whole thing. It all just seems like so upside down. So does the PED or PEC provide any kind of mechanism to help boards find new board members in these particular geographies?
No.
It seems to me it's kind of like, oh shit, we're gonna have a vacancy that we have to fill within 45 days of that. All this pressure falls on the board. And then what happens? The head administrator goes out basically around the community trying to drum up someone that can take the seat. So it's kind of like the head administrator is the one kind of finding their boss.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is
That's how
right.
it's been historically.
Well, and
And
Has
then
it-
you join
Yes.
and it's volunteer and then you got all these pressures of the training and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of like,
well, I will,
why the hell would
I will
anybody want to
say,
do this?
Yeah. It's
I
a
will
labor
say
of
that
love.
that's actually how it's been at Taos Academy. Kelly works with probably more boards than I do, but I work with 30 boards and the head administrator is not recruiting, the board is. And so, the board members, the board is doing their
I'm
recruiting.
trying to get people to move to that. That's the
Yes.
purpose of this.
Yes,
Is that it shouldn't, the cart shouldn't be driving the horse.
yes.
And so that's what this recruiting succession planning is to move away from that model of the head administrator recruiting their own boss. You want somebody that is going to be, so a lot of boards have recruiting committees or succession committees. And so this is the paradigm that we're trying to move, is because there's a lot of trouble with that. The negative instances of schools with negative behavior, I don't want to say specifically, but money being embezzled, that kind of thing, that's because there's lack of oversight. That's because they don't have somebody that's reviewing the invoices or verifying the invoices. And there's been several of them and schools that closed because of misappropriations of funds. And so you need to have a board that is clear about their roles and responsibilities. And that head administrator oversight is one of the big ones. And the budget is one of the big ones. And so, yes, you want to put money away for training. You guys need to say, we need X amount of dollars to do training, and the spring budget conference, the state conference, those are things that are extra added. Yes, this training you get covers your hours, but that's a minimum. That's a minimum. And you know, the better you are at understanding your job, the more effective the oversight's gonna be.
I'm not saying you have to go to all the trainings,
Mm-mm.
but at least if you can go to one
Yes.
and just experience that and talk
Yeah.
to other people.
We,
And they-
we
they-
collaborate with other boards. They talk about best practice. Stealing is the best way that you can learn. Stealing ideas, that's what that is for.
Mhm.
Like recipes.
Mhm.
I don't like being in a situation where I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
And I'm hoping every time I go to a meeting, I'm gonna learn something new, you know, but I have not been through that campus. I have never seen the whole campus. I
So we need
never felt like I could call, or I felt awkward about calling and saying, hey, will you give me a tour? It
Oh,
isn't,
no, you need to be
We
okay
need
with
to,
that.
we
Yeah.
do that. And we used to all be there at one point. We used to show up on campus for our meetings and that's part of what it was. And now we're doing more virtual, which is helpful. I know for me in the winter, I don't want to travel all the way over here and then have to drive back at night with the ice and everything on the road. But now that like I start now in May and stuff, I would be able to come.
And there are a lot of invites that the leadership team presents to us when they're like, you know, there's gonna be this fair going on or this STEM thing going on. So those are those opportunities, like if you wanna go to any of them, you can definitely see the campus.
okay, great.
And even if you call and you ask and say, can either a staff member or a student show me around? And that way you can get to talk to them and they can, you.
That's what,
See.
there's a difference, you know, we do have board members that go to campuses and go to classrooms and observe teachers and come back and say XYZ is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, blah, blah, blah. That's over the line. But seeing the campus, participating in student presentations, all of that is well within the boundaries of, and so you should feel very comfortable. It's just, you can't, nobody, a board does not have individual power. A board member does not have individual power.
Right.
The oversight of the head administrator is collectively the board. President usually is the disseminator, but a random board member can't just go to the school and say, I saw teachers doing this, or I saw somebody doing this, and that's not the role. So, but definitely being familiar with the school is a fiduciary responsibility.
And maybe we should arrange for that, is for all of us to show up before a meeting and tour all the stuff, because there's stuff there that we haven't seen yet.
Right.
The annual breakfast thing in
Yeah.
September or whatever was kind of like that. It was always kind of like, oh, if we want to have a walk around because it's morning time and the teachers get back to doing what they're doing, and that's a good time.
Did you get some agua?
Yes. So, all right.
Okay.
All right, do we feel good about our board succession planning? Ish. I mean, we don't
Yes.
feel good about it, but we feel,
We know more about it
we
now.
know more about it. There's change coming. There's structural change coming, and we gotta start working on it.
You know, you guys having right now, this is triage one because it's the first train coming is yours.
Sorry.
No, it's not, but it's reality. And if Barb's willing to sort of start kind of
I just wanna know more about how
apprenticing
you look at
and,
it.
and as you do this and get that workflow and document it a bit so that we can capture your brain in case this isn't something you end up wanting to own. And then we'll start talking more about August because that's the next train coming. So we'll deal with one train at a time. We've got one coming in August that now we know about and is rightly makes a lot of sense given Sam's new chapter. So we'll figure that out too.
In
We're
my
not gonna
view,
figure out today.
is this whole thing is a machine
Mhm.
that is far greater than us.
Oh,
That sounds totally
1000%.
And that's when I just go, you know what, I can only come and do like whatever it is that I need to be doing my little part. But
Right.
this machine will carry on.
Oh, 100%.
So don't put too much pressure on yourself.
I'm not putting any pressure on it. It's more about where do I fit in that machine?
Right.
How big is my thing this big or is it this big?
Yeah.
Or what do I,
You're learning your cog.
exactly, yeah.
Tracy would like to share. Thank you for working on the request. I have not seen a current secession plan presented by any member of the governing council, nor any contractor acting in place of the general council. Please provide the document so I can better understand what you were asking me before the end of my contract time.
I just wouldn't.
So my note, and again, maybe I wasn't clear, was I said, yes, this is important. During our retreat, we landed on the following plan, which is to merge Kelly's existing secession planning document that I think you've seen and the job description that you generated to create a checklist with you by May 4th or 5th. Thank you for your patience on this. That was my note. So her response was,
Just this morning, just 15 minutes ago.
just 15 minutes ago, yeah, I said, I have not seen a secession plan presented by anyway, so
I'm not really sure what that is.
I don't know what,
I
anyway,
don't
so I
know.
just, so you both been CC, just want to let you
Great.
know that, and again, I apologize if I wasn't clear.
Nope, That's all right.
But was attempting to be clear,
Sure.
and we will work on that.
So I just want to do a time check. We're at 11:07. We got to pick up our lunch at noon. That would be great, or by noon. And so I think we are now, if we don't have anything else on our board membership stuff, I'm gonna move us into our executive session.
Yes.
It is 11:07, and I move that we go into executive session pursuant to 10-15-1H2 related to limited personnel matters related to the hiring of the head administrator for the upcoming school year 26-27.
Second,
We need a first and a second, please.
motion to go into executive session?
Second,
And then a roll call, please.
Sam,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Laura,
yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Karen, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording now. Stop recording. Okay, we are now returning to open session at 1:38 p.m. I would like to state for the record that all matters discussed during our closed session pursuant to 10-15-1H2, limited personnel matters, were related to the hiring of the head administrator for SY 26-27. There was no action taken during this closed session, and there were no other matters discussed. Can I please have a roll call to affirm the statement that I've just made?
Sam,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Karen, yes.
And we don't have any action that we need to take as a result from our executive session, so we're going to move on from letter I. Our next regular meeting is May 11th, 2026 at 5 p.m.
5:30.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5:30 p.m. And I will call this meeting adjourned at 1:39 p.m. Thank you so much for all who attended.